spectrum future. Want to be mine. This necklace is like high-key choking me, but we're just gonna roll with it. Hey guys, so it's Savannah. Welcome back to my channel, and today we're doing a video that I haven't done in quite a while. Had a little hard time kind of articulating what I was trying to say there, but it's okay. I wanted to just kind of sit down and talk to you guys today. I wasn't really in the mood to film like a serial killer video or like a music suggestion video. I just wanted to sit down and talk to you. And I was gonna film a Let's Talk, but then I was thinking about it and I was like, I really don't have anything that I know that I want to talk about, and typically Let's Talks don't turn out well unless I'm like heated about something. And then I remembered, Khloe Kardashian got cheated on by Tristan Thompson. I don't know why I'm so affected by it, but I literally am like fuming. I was fuming last night on FaceTime with my boyfriend, and I was literally like, I am so mad, and he like didn't understand why I was mad, and I was like, men are trash. Like, they're not. I'm just being dramatic. But regardless, I thought, why not do a relationship Q&A? That's just kind of what sparked all of this to come about. I haven't done one of these since I feel like summer. Actually, I know it was exactly summer because it was right before I got like an eye infection and a throat infection and literally like was dead. So I asked you guys on Twitter, if you don't follow me on Twitter, right here at Savannah Breimer, go give it a follow so you can be involved in the next Q&A if you weren't involved in this one. I asked you guys to send me in the relationship questions that you wanted answers to, and what's funny enough is you guys asked me questions about my relationship, which I thought was kind of funny. I told you guys about an hour ago that I was filming this Q&A and we have over 70 questions. So obviously I can't answer all of them, but I'm going to try and hit the big ones. And without further ado, let's just get right on into it. Am I in focus? Victoria asked, how do you find the balance between friendships and relationships? And this is something that I struggle with. I'm going to be referring a lot to my relationship now, by the way, so just disclaimer on that. I struggle with this a lot because I'm the type of person where my boyfriend is like my best friend, so we are constantly around each other and we want to constantly be around each other. I think you have to remember that your friends are your friends for a reason, and like, let's say the relationship doesn't work out, your friends are going to be there, but they're not going to be there if you ditch them throughout the entire time of your relationship and just go to them when you need them, or go to them when you have problems, or go to them when you break up. Because I've had people do that to me and it's just kind of like, like, I don't really feel as bad for you. I'm sorry, this bitchy, but like, And so I just think it's important to keep your friendships with your friends that were there before your relationship alive, and just know that like you and your significant other are like two separate people, and like you're not one person. You both have separate lives and you have to kind of balance that properly. And once you find that balance, it's pretty easy. But I mean, everyone's guilty of it at like some point. In my situation, it's kind of easier just because a lot of my friends don't live here. Like Cassie, you guys have seen her in videos. She goes to college out of state, so she's not always here, but we always FaceTime. I'm always FaceTiming with my friends, always texting my friends. It's just important to maintain those relationships with your friends, I feel like. So just even like a simple text or a FaceTime, just ask them how they're doing. Katie asked, what's the most important thing in a relationship? And to me, there's three things that are most important in a relationship, and that is communication, trust, and loyalty. All three of them kind of go hand in hand. I feel like if you don't have communication, you're fucked. And if you trust the other person, that's great, but if they're unloyal, then what? And honestly, that all stems back to communication. Like if someone's just feeling off, if there's something not right, you have to be able to communicate that with someone else. I used to be so afraid of communication because I used to be like, if I like open my mouth and say my opinion, then they're gonna break up with me. And it's like, if I open my mouth, say my opinion, and they're gonna break up with me, I don't want to be with them in the first place. It's also important to listen to what the person you're dating has to say too. Like, it's a two-way street. So those would be my three main things for solid, healthy relationship. Nicole asked, not so much a relationship question, but I know you did a video about your turn-offs, so what are your turn-ons? My turn-ons, as far as like personality and little things like that go, someone who's funny. You have to be able to make me laugh, and also sarcasm. I am so sassy and so sarcastic, it like bites me in the ass sometimes. I need someone to like have that banter back and forth. Like if I'm sarcastic and you just like sit there and you're like, oh no, like I need someone to kind of like keep me on my toes in that sense. Someone who smells good, like it automatically brings them up by 3 points in my opinion. Like if you smell good, like bless up. Someone who's interested and someone who cares. I think that's my biggest one. Isn't bullshitting just to kind of like get through the conversation, like is genuine. That's what it is. It's genuine. Someone who's genuine. That's like the biggest thing for me. So that's a really big turn on if you're like genuine and you're funny and you smell good. Jasmine asked, do you think long distance relationships are worth it? Love you. I love you too. And honestly, I think it depends on the situation. I feel like personally, if the person is worth worth it and you trust them, like trust is so important in long distance relationships. I couldn't even imagine. If you don't trust the person, it's not gonna work. Obviously no one wants to be in a long distance relationship. If you feel like that is the right person for you and you're willing to go through that because you know that that's the right person for you, then I think maybe it is worth it. I don't feel like you should start off in a long distance relationship. I've just watched way too many episodes of Catfish to not be a skeptic about that, but I feel like it's important to kind of establish and create a base and foundation for your guys' relationship before you do decide to go long distance. Just sad thoughts. Nina asked, what is one thing you have learned from your relationship? The one thing that he has taught me is that it's okay to be vulnerable and it's okay to open up and communicate. I remember in all my past relationships, I just had the thickest, hardest wall up and that no one was getting through. Well, first of all, I was involving myself with all the wrong people and dating all the wrong people, but second of all, I thought that the right thing to do was to just shut my mouth and like act like I didn't have feelings. When I was mad, just kind of suck it up and like go along with it. But I think my relationship now has taught me that you need that communication and you need to have trust in the other person and be able to be vulnerable with them in that sense. I guess the main thing that he's taught me is that it's okay to be vulnerable and it's okay to express yourself and express your feelings and to be yourself, honestly. Like, I'm so myself around him, it's probably like too much sometimes, but he still is here and he still loves me, and that's all I could ever ask for. Courtney Lynn asked, in a relationship, how do you not get so jealous or anxious? My boyfriend tells me that I am the most nervous person he's ever met. I always get nervous, I always have anxiety, I always get anxious, I always think something is wrong, and that carries over into me always worrying about him. And not even because I don't trust him, because I do, but it's just I have that mindset where I'm like, oh my god. But I always remind myself is, in general, I've learned this, that as far as the jealousy thing goes, you have to remember who you are and what you bring to the table and how amazing and great you are, and if someone's stupid enough to give that up, then like they shouldn't even be there in the first place. About the anxious and anxiety thing, I think you just have to take a deep breath and understand that they're their own person and they can take care of themselves. They should be able to take care of themselves. Trust that if something does go wrong or if they need you, that they'll call you or they'll tell you. That's probably all I have to say about that. Amy asked, how do you not let your past relationships affect the one you're in currently? I am way guilty of this. I have this fear that because in every single relationship I've been in, I've always been cheated on or I've always been lied to or used or manipulated and whatever, that's just going to be the ongoing pattern for the rest of my life. But I think what you have to realize is that the new person that you're with isn't your past. And I know that's easier said than done. And I think I've told you guys this before, but I'm gonna tell you again. When it was my freshman year of college, I was like talking to this guy and he had the same name as my ex. And I literally went so psycho on this kid one night and I had way too much to drink and I was like yelling at him for everything my ex did because they had the same name. Like, that's psycho. Like, that's probably the craziest thing I've ever done. And the guy was like standing there and he was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I never cheated on you. Like, I don't know what to say right now. Good God. Once upon a time, Sav was a dab. It's not healthy and it's not going to do anything other than worry you to bring over your worries from your previous relationships into your new one. Obviously, you learn from relationships and you can bring that over. Like, move your lessons onto the next relationship, but don't take the burdens with you. Emma asked, when you guys have a rough patch, what do you do to build it up again? So in my past, before my current relationship, in my past, when I had an argument with the person that I was with, it was over automatically. We wouldn't talk for like a couple months and then we'd be right back on our bullshit, and it was just a constant cycle. And so I got into the routine of thinking that every time I got into an argument with someone, it was just gonna end. And what I didn't realize is that's not true, and I was just in a psychotic, unstable relationship. I've learned that it's okay to have disagreements and it's okay to have arguments. No relationship is perfect by any means, and you're not gonna agree on everything. You're gonna get into a couple of arguments, you're gonna get into a couple fights. What I think that we realize is that no argument we've had or no disagreement we've had is worth our relationship and worth the other person. Like, we kind of put things into perspective and like understand that, and as you grow up, I think you realize an argument or a disagreement shouldn't fully compromise a relationship unless it's like a big deal, but like typically it shouldn't. And so I think that's how you recover from that, is just understanding that if the other person's worth it, if the relationship is worth it, then you guys can work through it. And I think that's something that I had to realize. So that is my answer, if that makes any sense. friends. I feel like Dr. Phil. Mariah asked, do you think it's better keeping your relationship low-key or being super showy over social media? I think it depends on the person. I don't think there's a right or a wrong, honestly. I feel like personally for me, I keep my relationship kind of private, or I did for a long time, just because I wasn't fully sure where it was going or if he wanted to be in my social media life, just because like I signed up for this but like other people didn't, you know? Like I think this could go two ways. It's either in the way of if like one person's showing someone off on social media all the time and the other person's not, it might be a little weird. Like what, well, like are you trying to hide something? Like I don't know. I think it's kind of cute, but at the same time it's just not me. But does that mean that their relationship is not gonna work? No. Does it mean that it will? No. Someone whose relationship is super private on social media, does that mean it's gonna work? No. Does it mean it's not gonna work? No. So I mean, I think it's just dependent on the person. I just think it depends on the person and it depends on the circumstance in the relationship. Like if you're someone who wants to show off your significant other all the time, by all means, like go for it. If they're a little bit iffy about it, then maybe ask them why. If they have a logical explanation, okay. If they're a little bit shady about it, maybe look into it a little bit. Jade asked, how can you stop feeling insecure your boyfriend is going to leave you because everyone else did, feeling like it's too good to be true? This is my life in a nutshell. I have had really bad toxic relationships in my past. I am the poster girl for boyfriends leaving her. Like that is me. Hi. All my relationships have ended in them choosing someone else or whatever. And so I do get nervous and I do express that to him. I think that's really important, is to express to your significant other your fears and for them to know your past and to understand you. And if they're genuine and really are there for you and have genuine feelings for you, they should understand where you're coming from and hopefully be able to reassure you. Reassurance isn't a bad thing. Everyone needs a little reassurance every once in a while. But I think what you have to remember in your mind is the people that you're with now aren't the people that you were with before, and you have to take it day by day, one day at a time. If someone's stupid enough to let you go, you gotta be smart enough to walk away, right? So they are someone that's stupid enough to let you go, then be smart enough to walk away, and you're gonna find someone one day that won't let you go. But I get you. I feel you on that. Rachel says, my ex and his new girlfriend are going to prom together and they are going to the same pictures as I am. What can I do to let it not bother me? Been there. Let me tell you what I did. You want me to tell you? Okay, not only did I have to take pictures for prom with my ex and his new girlfriend and all my friends. Granted, we had a really big friend group, but they were there. During the pictures, I stayed far away. I stayed far, far, far away, or at least I tried to. It didn't really work. I just mentally prepared myself. I was like, all right, he's cheated on me before. It's okay. Like, this isn't anything new. He's gonna be there with a new girl. So what? And I was there with some blind date, which, whatever, different story. Not only that, because that wasn't enough to like be there in the pictures. On the bus to prom, him and his new girl sat right across from me and they were making out the whole time. Like subtle. And what I did was absolutely nothing. And honestly, I could tell you that that's the best way to go about it. Don't make a scene. Don't get upset. Just understand that he's your ex for a reason. Although it sucks seeing him with a new girl, it'll pass. And it's your prom. Don't let him ruin your prom. You only get like, I don't know how many proms your high school has. Mine had 2. So you only have so many proms. So just enjoy it and don't worry about it. Don't let your ex ruin your prom. So honestly, I think there's probably like 15 to 20 questions asking about how me and my boyfriend met. So I'm just gonna get that off the table because I know you guys really want to know. So I was always on like dating apps, right? So I was always on like Bumble and Tinder. I would like talk to guys, but I would like rarely meet them. And I was just kind of convinced. I was like, you know what? We're in the age where people always do dating apps. I'm probably gonna meet my boyfriend on like Bumble or Tinder. I was wrong. It was back in September. Me and Vanessa, who you guys have seen in a video, we decided to go to a Padres game. We go to this Padres game and our other friend is there. His name's Chandler. You guys have seen him in like my Instagram lives and things like that. So Chandler was there with his group of friends, his friends that were on his baseball team. And so we met up with Chandler and Chandler took us to where his friends were and they were playing some like baseball virtual game. I got there and it was 3 of his friends or 4 of his friends. I think 3. This guy that I had already met previously, this other guy, and my boyfriend now, who I didn't know was gonna be my boyfriend then, but he's my boyfriend now, Dane. So Dane was there and I remember he just like shook my hand and he was like, hey, like I'm Dane, and I was like, hey, like I'm Sav. I remember me and Chandler went to go get a drink and so we're walking and I looked at Chandler. I was like, hook it up. Like he's so cute. I don't like blondes. Like I typically am not a blonde girl except for my hair kind of. Like I don't go for blondes. I was like, I don't go for blondes, but like he's cute. Like make it happen. And he's like, yeah, like he's a good looking guy. He's a really good guy. Like this is not like hyping him up. So long story short, we go and we sit in our seats and it was Vanessa and Chandler and one of his friends in the first row and then it was the other friend, Dane, and me. in the second row. And throughout the entire game, we were just kind of like that sarcastic banter that I was talking about. We were just kind of like joking with each other all night and like just got along really well and just like clicked kind of right off the bat. I don't know, I was just like really kind of surprised by him. He totally was an unexpected thing. Like at that point in my life, I was totally like not expecting it. I was not expecting to meet someone like him, someone as great as him or as amazing as him or just anyone else as far as a relationship at all, especially in person. But honestly, I'm so happy that I did. He was the greatest surprise I could have ever asked for. This is so sappy, it's ridiculous. And then basically after that, I told Chandler that I wanted to hang out with him again just because we're in 6th grade and I couldn't tell him that myself. And so after the game, I left with Vanessa, he left with his friend. The next night, we kind of all regrouped, and that is when we hung out the second time, and then I gave him my number, and the rest is history. So yeah, that's how it happened. When I do a video with him, I'll have him explain it in his side of the story. Sarah asked, how do you stay independent while you're in a relationship? I kind of touched on this in the first question, but it's really important to know you and the person that you're with are not one person. You're two people, you have two different lives, you were two different people before you met each other, and you're still gonna be two different people when you're together. You're allowed to like different things, you're allowed to do different things, have different hobbies, but then at the same time come together and do things together. I think it's important to keep your independence by doing some of the things that you still were doing before you met each other. You were a person before you met them. Courtney asked, best advice for missing an ex. When I miss my ex, well, I don't miss my ex, so I don't know. Back when I was like still trying to get over my exes, if I ever missed them, I would occupy myself. I would hang out with my friends. I would like go out and just like have a fun night out. Be with your friends or like surround yourself with family. Just don't like sit there and like think about it. That's the worst thing you could do. Brianna asked, what makes this relationship different from your last one? And I think that's where we're gonna end this video, but I'm gonna answer it and I'm gonna say, what makes my relationship this time different than my other ones? I found someone who's genuine, and I found someone who actually gives a fuck. And I found someone who I know that no matter what will be there. And I'm the type of person where I sometimes feel guilty. I feel like a burden if like I'm not feeling my best or if I'm having a bad day to like call someone or text someone, but he constantly assures me like that he wants to be that phone call and that he wants to be the person that I call when I can't sleep or when I have anxiety or if I'm having a bad day. Like he wants to be my rock and my support, and I think that's what's the biggest difference, is that we are each other's like support and we're always there for each other and we understand each other, and he's just like my person. I don't know. This is so sappy. We're gonna end this video right here. Alright you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up and click that subscribe button. If you're new to my channel, hi, my name is Savannah. I make videos 3 days a week, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. You should subscribe, join the family. I love you guys so much, and I'll be back again in a couple days with a brand new video. Bye guys.